Take 3 Wrestling Podcast. We are live. It is Thursday, the 25th of August, and it is technically the Take 2 Podcast. If you're watching at home, it is me, Mikey B. I am joined by producer Jim. What's up, buddy?
Hey?
Yeah, this is a thing.
Sal Bandini. Want to wrestle?
At this point, we might need Sal Bandini to be the third man tonight.
We might. I just saw this tweet. It has nothing to do with wrestling.
Okay.
You get $15 million.
Okay.
But Derrick Henry gets to randomly truck you once a month for the rest of your life. Are you taking the money?
Hold on, stretching. Yep, let's go.
Like I mean, I'm fat. I don't know how long I have, so I'm only gonna get trucked a few times, maybe.
I'm gonna look at it from this standpoint. Am I in shoulder pads, or am I have to take this hit like?
You don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Because it's randomly. So, are you just gonna walk around in shoulder pads for the rest of your life?
I mean, is he gonna walk around in helmet and shoulder pads, or is he just gonna truck me in his like street attire?
Brother, I don't think it matters with Derrick fucking Henry.
Yeah, no, but if someone's got a fucking helmet, it's gonna hurt a hell of a lot more.
Well, that's true, but I feel like Derrick Henry, just as a dude, it's gonna
a helmet is a crash course, though, for you to somehow find a way to become part of the Chris Bowflex Foundation.
Ooh.
Like,
uh-oh.
So it's one of those where it's like, if I'm gonna get destroyed, I mean, at least
in
the process.
I mean, at this point, does it matter if I look fatter? I'm just gonna wear like a padded fat suit for the rest of my life.
Works for me. All right. So before we begin, let's address the elephants in the room. Ernest was supposed to be with us tonight. Unfortunately, the Christian family have lost a feline companion. My wife was actually with Ernest's wife. Heard her over there. So my wife was with Lauren when they had to make the decision while I had the kids here and Ernest had the kids at his place. So Ernest has decided to take a step back from tonight's show, obviously, to spend time with his wife, which we, of course, will always support that decision. Alonzo Diaz, Joe Lopez, wherever the hell you are, you're like Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah. The mystery of Joe, and obviously, we wish the best to Ernest and his family. That's it's something that's never easy. We did that. We had to do that with our dog last year. So, yeah, it sucks. That's never good. So, definitely thinking about them. But yeah, where the fuck is Joe?
I mean, we talked about what time we were going live for a while. For those of you at home that don't know us, we record this thing normally Thursday nights about 10:30. We go for however long we go for, and then Ernest gets this thing up eventually sometime on Friday once he wakes up or takes a shit or whatever the fuck he does. Just because you're not here doesn't mean we ain't gonna rag on your toolbox.
We do it out of love.
Exactly. The reason why Joe's not here, maybe we'll be able to break that news to you guys during the show whenever he actually arrives, if he does arrive. Because at this point, I don't know.
Yeah, it like usually we'll get a text like, "Hey, I'm like 5 minutes out," and 10 minutes out or whatever it was. This week it was like I have no clue when I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I was like, are we looking at 10 minutes or maybe an hour? And he was probably closer to the latter.
And we were like, you did get the message that we're already down to 3 people, right? Like,
this will now be the Take 2.5 podcast.
And like, up until like a month ago, I wasn't even in like the equation. Like, you realize you're like fortunate that I'm here in a way.
Correct, because it would have been the
Take. It would have been the Mikey B hour.
Yeah, I would have sat here and just talked about random shit. So on this day in history, Jushin Thunder Liger defeated somebody in a random match in Japan.
Michael.
That's exactly what this show would have been. But we do have a good show set up for you guys tonight. We're going to go through the topics that everybody had picked, including talking about the now unified AEW World Champion. We'll also talk about the year that was of CM Punk in AEW. A fill in the blank that should be fun because I'll be filling in the blanks. And then wrestler, regardless of contract status, that you want to see return to WWE at this point that hasn't. And then at the end of the show, we'll do our wrestlers of the week, where then we will have the final list of nominees for the August wrestlers of the month, because this is the last show of the month of August, as we're getting ready to turn the calendar to September. And on next week's show, I know next week's show is going to be a pretty busy one because I think we have obviously wrestlers of the month from August. I believe we have Castles in the Sky.
Yeah, I was talking about that when we were putting together 3 count for the week for next week, and running down. There's literally 3 pay-per-views next weekend.
Castles in the Sky.
Castles in the Sky is Saturday afternoon.
Yep.
Worlds Collide is Sunday afternoon, and then
Sunday night's all out.
Sunday night is All Out. So yeah, there's a lot of predicting going on next week.
So how are you guys gonna do the scorecards for the
fuck my life? We're gonna have to just pick one.
Well, that or do you do something where, okay, 1 week is the winner of the first show, which is Castle in the Sky. The second week is the winner of Worlds Collide, and then
Worlds Collide doesn't. Worlds Collide ain't gonna count. So let me think about that right now. So the WWE pay-per-view schedule.
I was gonna say, because if you give whoever wins Castle in the Sky 2 weeks, and then the next 2 weeks you give to the winner of All
next
Out.
Pay-per-view after. Okay, yeah, so it's not until October. So we could do
2 weeks for the winner of Castle in the Sky, and then 2 weeks for the winner of All Out, and then you'll have the next.
Yeah, so for Clash at the Castle, we'll give them the week of like the 5th through the. I'll obviously clear this with my 3 count guys, but yeah, like the first 2 weeks of September, maybe even the first 3 weeks. Well, one of them will get 3 weeks, one of them will get 2, because there's literally 5 weeks between the shows, because it'll be the 5th through the 9th, the 12th through the 16th, 19th through 23rd, 26th through 30, and 3rd through the 7th. That, like, those weeks. And then the 8th is Extreme Rules. So yeah, there's 2 weeks and there's 3 weeks. So yeah, we'll figure that out. But make sure you are following along with 3 Count Thursday, because that's where we get all the posts out when we announce the make sure you get in on the PW scorecards. So make sure you do that so you don't miss it, because you can get a chance to make picks for our wrestler of the week over on 3 Count. So
Max, stop chewing on that. Sorry, I'm yelling at my dog. All right, so let's get to the topics at hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll start. I believe it was my topic, and obviously it's the most influential thing that happened in sports or wrestling this week. We had a unification match.
Did we?
We had a unification ass kicking.
We had two when 2 became 1. Let's just put it that way. That's when two belts became 1 on TV. I wouldn't really necessarily call that a match, but
before we get there, we've gone through the interim championship phase. We saw how much fans hated it. So let's just go ahead and run it back with the women's title now.
Well, the problem is, Mike, it's the same thing with the rankings. So the rankings and wins and losses, they matter, right? Except they don't, because FTR has been at top of the rankings for 8 months. They haven't got a tag team title match. Like, how many guys near the top of the singles rankings? They don't get title matches, but Mance Warner can walk in and get a world title match. Okay, that makes sense. We
love Manser.
I got no problem with Manser, but he shouldn't be getting an AEW world interim or not. Shouldn't be getting a world title match when you have the rankings. But like, the problem is, they're committed to the wins and loss rankings, and now they've done it multiple times, because they did it with the TNT title because of Cody, and now they've done it with other belts. Hi, Craig. Yep. They're locked in, and to change, to get rid of the rankings, to get rid of the interim champions, admits that you were wrong, and Tony Khan is not going to admit that he was wrong.
No,
to a fault. It's to the point now where it's to a fault. because the interim champion thing is dumb. But here we are. At least now we have an undisputed world champion. We will soon have an interim women's world champion.
Great.
Exactly.
All right, let's talk about what it was though. Jon Moxley, Phil from Chicago. Phil hits a spin kick, goes down and grabs his plant foot, and it was a car crash from there.
And I guess the theory is like the plant and spin is where he like re-injured the foot.
Not Austin.
not Austin. But okay, so yeah, so he does the injury thing. Bottom line here is like we were questioning the decision why they were moving the title match. My prevailing belief is, and I said it because I saw the pictures of him at a Comic-Con where he couldn't keep a shoe on. He didn't have his shoe on during Comic-Con. It was under a table, but there was a picture with a fan that I saw that he's sitting there with a bare foot. If you've ever had a foot or an ankle injury, you know why you do that? Because your foot hurts like hell when it's inside of a fucking shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's swollen and it's sore.
We were actually just talking about that because we have the Yankee game on because Craig's a Yankee fan. DJ Lemay, he's been playing with a broken bone in his foot, and we're like, yeah, because the last thing DJ Lemay probably wants to do is put on a cleat right now.
Yeah. So it's when I saw the way that match went down last night, I went, okay, he's not healthy. The foot's not red. Like he's not 100%. He's not anywhere close to 100%. He was able to get through what he did. And I actually went back and I watched when he came out and came back the other week and he like walked down to the ring. Look at him. Go back to that video on YouTube. He's walking gingerly on the left foot. I know he did the little hoppy thing during the like right before the commercial on the left foot. But like you can do that with pain. The guy's not healthy.
You can give him a cortisone shot, numb that bitch up, and he can fucking go do cartwheels on the motherfucker.
Right, exactly. He's not healthy. He's not 100%. That match got the title off of him, in my mind, so you don't have to do the match at All Out. But today, the reports from Meltzer and Fightful and all of that are that as of right now, and I know plans change, card subject to change, pal. But the plan is now this has not been announced. This has not been formally announced by AEW. One would hope that they would announce. I can't remember if Rampage is live tomorrow night. I lose track of when
I don't think so because Booker of the Year Tony Khan tweeted out an hour ago. Tomorrow night on Rampage, 10 Eastern, 9 Central, we'll have exclusive backstage footage of CM Punk shot following his undisputed AEW title match against Jon Moxley.
Okay. Which here's the deal. If you want to do some sort of an announcement thing, you can easily film that in the control center or whatever. So you can fill that in, although they never have time to insert anything into their shows anyway, because the way the Book of the Year books, but whatever. I would hope that there'd be an announcement tomorrow during Rampage. It will likely come on a frenetic tweet from Tony Khan on Monday at about 1:13 p.m. when he's either waking up from a Coke binge or passing out from another one. But they need to announce a title match. The rumor is that it is going to be Phil versus Mox again. My only question, and here they've done this to themselves, so I don't feel bad cutting down the Booker of the Year. But why? First off, the thing we've been told forever is AEW doesn't do rematches. So why is Phil getting a fucking rematch? He just lost. If he gets a rematch, why the fuck didn't Hangman Page get one?
Correct.
Like the guy who should be your biggest fucking homegrown star has been floundering since he lost the title, and he's doing nothing.
Yeah, he's not even part of the trios
He's
tournament.
not even in the trios thing because he wants to let Dark Order get it, which I like that part of this story. So why is he not involved here? Why did he not get a rematch? Why is Phil getting one?
Why
Because
is he
he was
not
hurt?
involved in this show at all?
Like, Phil should not have been champion while he was hurt.
Correct.
Phil, and granted, if he was healthy enough to come back, which clearly not, in my opinion, so he shouldn't have had the match this week. Not going to be healthy for All Out. So build a story to All Out with Mox as champion. They have floundered this thing from the time of the injury, and it's only getting worse. What? So if Punk wasn't ready on Wednesday, why is he going to be that much better in 10 days?
How is he going to be that much better?
Right. If he re-injured the foot and he can't walk out, how is he better in 10 days to compete in a world title match?
He's going to be so drugged up, he's not going to feel it.
He's straight edge. You don't get drugged.
Like if you're presenting this to me as I should be excited for this main event,
and it's probably not even going to be much of a match.
No, it's going to be the same bullshit that they just gave us.
Yeah.
And Mox is I would assume is going to win again because Punk's not healthy. Or if Punk wins, then what the fuck did this mean for Moxley to have the undisputed title for 10 days?
What if this is something else? What if this footage that you're going to see is Phil saying that, he's got a friend that is going to face Moxley and it's not him? And at least we get something different that actually may be a match.
Then I would at least be intrigued.
I would think that's the route I would personally be more intrigued with, because I have no vested interest in seeing that rematch because that match did nothing for me. I also, whenever Moxley won the interim title, and I like Jon Moxley, I probably would have retroactivated it and just given it back to the guy who Phil beat, which was Adam Hangman Page, and let Page be the champion, defend the title, and then let Punk, when he's fully healthy, come back and challenge Hangman Page.
Sure. That's logical.
It's a great set of hair. Good head of lettuce.
So
with that being said, if the comments are Phil saying, I'm out, but John, I have someone that I want you to face, and if this is just something, and stay with it here, I wouldn't be opposed to a Dax Harwood versus Jon Moxley AEW World Title match.
No, I wouldn't be. But isn't Dax already in a three-way on that show?
Oh, that's right, they are. It's them and Wardlow versus the Guns and Lethal.
Which, why the fuck is your TNT title not being defended? He's had one title defense, right?
Two.
Like the biggest fucking build to him becoming champion, he's had two title defenses that are barely. Well, the OC match was good. The second one barely rememberable. And now your next pay-per-view. He's in a fucking 6-man
because
tag.
You have to have Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson on the show.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
You got to probably find a way to get Jade Cargill on there.
Like, fuck, there's already 8 matches and there's more that needs to be announced.
It's going to be a 37-hour show.
Fucking
bitches.
Like, you know what they need for that is like a 67-man Royal Rumble.
Oh, they have one, the Casino Battle Royal. That's on that show. Here's what fucking drives me insane. And I don't mean to do this, but I'm gonna do this. Could you have imagined if, because we were being told by AEW fans, by commentators, I think probably by Tony Khan himself on Twitter, that Mox versus Punk was the biggest main event in AEW history.
They couldn't have been further from the truth.
And then they were telling us then it was, well, now it's the biggest match on Dynamite. Busted Open told me that as well when I listened.
I still don't think that's true.
I don't believe it is. Well, and in retrospect, it most certainly is not.
Even before the match took place, a 100% Phil from Chicago versus Jon Moxley, title versus title, does not have the same importance level to me that Cody versus Mr. Brody Lee did.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
The second time, the dog collar match on the Saturday night one.
Oh yeah.
What ended up being Brody's last match. That match was 100% more important to Dynamite than a random one-off unification match.
Especially during the pandemic run.
100%.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I agree with that.
And then biggest match involving the title. I mean, you tell me right now with a straight face that it wasn't Kenny Omega versus Adam Page.
Very true.
I'll probably call you.
But let's play along. Let's play along, right? They're telling us the biggest match. WWE was telling us going into Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 38 that this was the biggest main event in WrestleMania history. Could you have imagined the reaction if 14 days before WrestleMania 38 it was announced that Roman versus Brock was being moved to a Monday Night Raw 2 weeks before WrestleMania, or a SmackDown 10 days before WrestleMania? Could you have imagined the reaction? Vince has fucking lost his mind. WWE's desperate. They're in the mud. You know, this is just a sick ratings ploy and blah, blah, blah. And then, could you have imagined the reaction if a week after you give us that match on free TV, they tell you, guess what WrestleMania's main event is? Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the undisputed Universal Championship. The fucking reaction would have been insane. But for the most part, people are going to, like, AEW fans are going to lap this up because, well, this is the drama. Well, what's going to happen with Punk? Can he go? Can he do this? Now, I will say this. I have noticed that there are friends of mine that I've had on 3 Count that they literally, like, they had stopped watching WWE. They got back into wrestling because of AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they are one of these, like, hashtag fuck the Fed people. Like they were the voices that AEW was speaking to. One of the loudest voices on that show, for the last, like, 3-4 weeks, has done nothing but, like, rip AEW's booking. And go, like, what the fuck is going on over there? And has actually started watching WWE again since Triple H took over and is liking the WWE product. So when I say things like Triple H's WWE is the biggest threat to Tony's AEW, those are the people. That's where I'm getting it from. You are losing some of your core audience that, like, started the revolution with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially when Raw is good again, when SmackDown is good again, and it's cohesive and it tells a story, and there's continuity from week to week, from show to show, when you're seeing just this random fucking thrown together bullshit and Thunder Rosa, which, however you want to believe, and that we're not, because there's still so much to get into that I don't think we're even going to touch it this week.
Well,
but
see how it's a big 2.5 podcast. We may be able to dabble into that.
When Thunder Rosa has to do the same thing CM Punk did with her title that he did with his, but he gets to come out and give a sob story and lay the belt out, but Tony won't let me surrender it, and I get to hold the championship, and there's going to be an interim champion, and I'm going to get to fight, and I'm going to get to do this when I come back, and it's a fucking 20-minute segment to open Dynamite, and Thunder Rosa's thrown in a backstage segment with Tony Schiavone for about 2.5 minutes and is forfeiting the title because she's hurt. Like, these are the reasons you're losing your audience, because it's none of it's making sense. So again, why? What about a 4-minute match where Punk literally his only offense was that kick? How am I supposed to get excited for an all-out main event if this is what it is?
I don't think you can get excited.
No.
I don't think there's an excitement level past about 1.5.
Maybe that. That excitement level.
Ooh, okay. So they're doing a panoramic shot right now of the O.Co County Coliseum, or Ricky Henderson Field, whichever you want to call it in your days. We figured out that the paid attendance for today's game, and this is the Yankee game, is 74. There's like nobody in that stadium right now. That's the excitement level for a rematch between Jon Moxley and Phil from Chicago. Like, out of like a 60,000 seat stadium, my excitement level is 74. There's nothing to be excited about this match. There's nothing that they can do with this match. You've killed this match now.
Yeah.
You would have been better off of having them do introductions.
Have you seen this? The Elite 3-pack, the Roman versus Brock with
No,
Heyman.
I haven't. That's impressive.
Yeah, I just saw it on Amazon. Intern Mark sent it to me.
Are you serious?
$65.
Are you serious?
I'm gonna send that over to you.
All right, sounds good. So like, I just don't think that there's any possible way that you can turn that excitement level up in 10 days. Even if this backstage segment is Phil, getting carried to the back, putting him on in a chair and him throwing shit and being pissed off, I can't expect him to do any more than he did on Friday night or on last night on Wednesday night. There's nothing that's going to tell me whether his foot is shot up with 17,000 fucking shots of cortisone and it's literally like he's walking on a brick. I can't sit here and tell you the rematch got me, like, that match got me excited for the rematch.
Nope.
I'm not excited about the potential for a rematch of that in 3 months, let alone 10 days.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can change that thought process for me in the next 3 shows, because they have 3 shows until All Out. They have 2 Rampages and a Dynamite. They're not going to be able to get me to be like, man, I'm so excited for this Phil from Chicago. Like,
Yeah.
not going to happen. So the thought process is, if this is Phil's got a friend that he wants to bring in to fight John at All Out so we can have a world title match, fine. If this is Hangman coming out on Wednesday night and invoking his rematch clause, sure, it's a 10-day notice, or it'd be less than that by that point. But literally, at least that match is somewhat exciting. At least there's something to sink our teeth into. The problem here is there ain't shit to sink your teeth into coming out of this, because there is nothing that we know.
Yeah.
With Thunder Rosa being out and now being a 4-way, I'm going to ask this question whole honestly here. What's your main event of All Out? The 6-man tag title match?
You can probably get away with it being your trios title finals,
because Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are going to win.
Yeah.
And who are they going to face?
I don't know.
Hold on, I'm going to look it up real quick.
But here's the thing: you want your main event. You ask the question, "What's your main event for All Out?" Hangman Page is number 1 in the rankings. There's your answer.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard. If for whatever reason, like if you're gonna tell me, CM Punk got hurt, we're gonna give him another shot. He wasn't quite ready to go, but let's just pretend he's ready to go now. But like, why should CM Punk get to call in a ringer? Hangman Page has been here since day 1. He is number 1 in the rankings. This isn't hard.
No, this one is easily
Hangman Page. If it's not CM Punk, which I do not give a shit about that match.
No.
But maybe that's the beauty of it, is you can bury this one on the card. You can put it in the middle of the card. You can open the show with it. But are you opening the show with a 4-minute match? like you did the other night. That ain't a good way to start a pay-per-view.
No, it's not. It's not a good world title match to have in your first year.
Give me Hangman Page, man. He's number one. Give me Hangman Page.
Who's 2, 3, 4? If you
well, I guess. Yeah, because the rankings come out, I guess, right before Dynamite. But on yesterday's rankings that came out, Hangman 1, Hobbs 2, Lethal 3, Darby 4, Danielson 5.
So the only other person
Hobbs in the match with Starks.
Darby's the only other one that doesn't have a match.
Yeah, Lethal's in the 6-man. Danielson's wrestling Jericho because why? Why?
In a Daniel Garcia custody ladder match.
Oh my god, it's so fucking dumb. I pointed out something last night. Every Jericho angle since he's lost the title, every storyline arc has been exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's been the same fucking thing. Form a faction, drama in faction, end the faction, join a new faction. It's happening again.
Rinse, rather, repeat.
This one was just accelerated because the fucking Jericho's Appreciation Society is come and gone in this summer. It's been the summer of the society. But yeah, give me Hangman. Like that's all I want. Give me fucking Hangman.
So it looks like the Elite will take on the United Empire on Wednesday night's episode of Dynamite. They'll face the winner. And spoiler alert here. So anyone who hasn't, because Rampage was pre-taped, so I know what happens. So if you don't, if you're listening to this before, sorry, or please fast forward for the next.
Not sorry. Han dies. Iron Man dies.
Yeah, exactly.
And the boat sinks.
The boat sinks.
Yeah, exactly. Miro cost House of Black their first round matchup against the Dark Order. So the other side of the bracket is the Dark Order against the Best Friends. So you're literally telling me right now that we're going to get the Elite versus Best Friends for the Trios title. You're telling me that your main event of your biggest show of the year
is Kenny and the Bucks versus Orange Cassidy and the Best Fucking Friends,
or John Silver, Alex Reynolds, and Preston 10 Vance.
Oh, all of that all sounds awful.
Here's what should have been the main event. If you're gonna make the Trios title the main event, the match that's happening on Wednesday night should have been the main event.
Yeah, I agree.
Give me Aussie Open and Will Ospreay versus the Bucks and Kenny, and I can live with that being the main event, especially because of Kenny taking the shots that he's taken at Will on and off. So yeah, it's like
right. There's drama there. There's story.
I can live with that being the main event. I can't like
this show is going to be 5 hours of just horse shit.
Dumpster fire. It's literally going to be a dumpster fire. And I'll tell you right now, this is the first AEW show that I'm like, do I really want to spend the money?
I mean, we're planning a watch along. I mean, I don't. And again, I said this. I was on with Mindless Wrestling guys the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I said this to them. I said we do watch alongs or watch togethers, like watch parties, because nobody wants. I'm not spending $50 on a pay-per-view. I'm just not. I wouldn't do it for WWE. So it's not a Jim is poo-pooing on AEW thing. Like I'm 37 years old. I'm not spending $50 on a pay-per-view by myself. So no. Split it with one person, maybe 25, but give me a watch party when I can end up paying about $7 for this. So when I sit there for 5 hours and it's just bullshit, like this is the card, right? Listen to this card right now. Tell me what you're excited about. So you have the Trios Championship, which we just said it's so predictable it's not even funny.
I have mild interest in this.
The Kenny and the Bucks are winning, so I have no interest in it.
Sure, but at least them taking on Ospreay and Aussie Open, even though I know that they were going to win, would have had me more excited for this match.
Right, but we're not getting that. You know, I guess I would. Who would you rather see him go against, Dark Order or Best Friends?
I mean, I think the writing's on the wall that Best Friends are being pushed more. So probably them.
Yeah.
I mean, at this
I
point,
hate it
it's
either way.
it should have been the House of Black, but whatever.
Then you have Wardlow and FTR versus Jay Lethal and the Machine Guns.
Hold on, before do you think it wasn't House of Black because Kenny's still playing this fucking stupid ass heel role?
Probably.
Because the Bucks were like, "Oh yeah, we're faces now," and now Kenny's like,
Are we?
"Meh."
Yeah.
Could they be pulling the wool over our eyes? Could it be so obvious that Kenny and the Bucks are supposed to win, and his dickish heel way is going to end up costing them, and the best friends are going to win?
No.
I mean, it's literally so blatantly obvious.
But this is, I mean, Kenny Omega returning was the moment everybody wanted. Like this is what the people want.
They wanted the return.
Come on, Michael.
They didn't say anything about that they didn't want them to win the titles. They just wanted the return.
I mean,
because here's
hey,
what
they want to pull a swerve ski on me. I'm more than happy to see a swerve.
I almost want them to pull the swerve ski because I want this to then lead to the Bucks and Kenny starting to have a falling out, and this lead to Hangman coming to save the Bucks from everything.
Yeah.
And Kenny does his own thing where maybe he gets a new team together and creates a super elite, or maybe he joins Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish, and he tells them that the Young Bucks were never the end game. It was always the undisputed elite that was supposed to be the end game.
You say War Game?
No. Wait, where is it? I just gotta find it. I've said that to my wife. Don't worry. There it is.
War games! War games! War games! War games!
Yeah. I mean, I would rather have a swerve ski, but I don't.
If it's a swerve ski, I'm cool with it, especially if it leads to potentially heel Kenny with whomever against.
Yeah. All right. So we have that. Then we have Wardlow and FTR versus Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns.
Hold on. Before we go any further, so I have to share this with you. We talked about this live before we went live. Craig's brother, sitting over here to my right, your guys' left if you're watching at home. He is the manager of the Charleston Dirty Birds of the Atlantic League. Billy, his brother, was given an early exit from tonight's sporting contest.
Okay.
And in the process, he proceeded to take first base and go straight up Lloyd McClendon and decided to take it with him. Well, our good friend Billy, and I'll bring this up to you guys watching at home, proceeded to give the first base bag to this group of fans. Billy signed the first base bag and entitled it, and I quote, "Get Dirty" with the date on it.
That's so good.
So so the John Boy Media shared it and said they kind of needed first base to keep playing, so Coach grabbed a spare bag and signed it for the fans.
That's so good.
I'll make sure I forward you the ejection video so you can watch it. Okay, back to All Out. Jay Lethal and the Guns against Wardlow
and FTR. Match will be fine, but
I'm actually excited for this match because I want to see what FTR and the Guns can do together.
Oh, absolutely. But I could watch this match on Dynamite.
Sure, 100%.
Like, why is your best tag team and your TNT champion in a fucking 6-man that nobody asked for?
At this point, I would have rather have had the Guns versus FTR for the Ring of Honor tag titles on this show and let Wardlow defend the title against someone, even if it's Jay Lethal in a singles match. Like, I don't care. Like, that's fine with me. Because at the end of the day, like, you need to.
I would rather have FTR wrestling for the fucking titles that they've been number one in the rankings for 6 months.
I agree, but the build to the Acclaim getting a title match has been very good, and it's going to reach its apex because they are taking on Swerve in their glory.
So put them at the top of the rankings then.
Oh no! So here's the thing: The rankings make no sense. We've agreed
Right.
to this.
Yes, but I'm trying to speak illogically, or logically in an illogical situation.
Correct.
Okay, then we have the now announced four-way match for the interim AEW Women's World Championship. Toni Storm versus Hikaru Shida versus Jamie Hayter, her.
I like her.
And I like her a lot. And versus
Not sure, but
Oh, hold on.
yeah. Hold on. There was a picture I just saw earlier. I'll send it over to
I
you.
do like Toni Storm and Jordan
Grace.
Jordan Grace.
Let me see if I can find this one because it was a fantastic picture. Crap.
Yeah, she.
Please, Bill, how do you- but it's Storm, Baker, Hayter, and Sheeter.
That's that. What if that's not a picture that you?
Oh wow.
Which one did you show him?
The one from her Instagram.
Oh yeah, I like that one. Here's one in her wrestling gear though that I just sent to you.
I like it a lot.
Again, so interim title thing aside, like
Craig.
what did he say?
You go, she.
There's if you catch Jamie Hayter in her wrestling gear straight from behind, her butt looks like Rey Mysterio. The way her gear is. You're welcome. You'll never be able to unsee that. So I assume Britt's just winning. Just to me, it feels predictable.
I mean, I would prefer that it's Tony or Hayter.
Oh, no. I understand. I would prefer that too. But like again, we're talking about what they're going to do.
I think Tony makes more sense because they've done the Brit thing with Thunder Rosa. I think we've driven that off the cart path. That's why I think if Punk would have won, MJF wouldn't have made a ton of sense. I think it's the same thing.
But the report report I read today is that Toni Storm was set to win.
She should be sent to my room
against Thunder Rosa,
mm-hmm.
Which tells me that at least as of right now, that's not going to be the plan at all out.
Then I would probably have Hayter or Shida.
Unless Hayter turns on Britt.
I don't necessarily think you need to have her turn. I just think
or she just catches an opportunity.
Britt has
Britt's
Sheeter
knocked out on the outside, or she's fighting.
Or Britt has Sheeter in the lockjaw, and Jamie just fucking blasts Tony with a kick and pins her.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that could work. Okay. But whatever. Interim title, meh. Okay. Casino ladder match. Whatever. It's going to be a fucking car crash, and somebody stupid's going to win.
Do we even know who's in that match?
No, they haven't even announced anybody.
All right, yet. So that means it's somebody like fucking Malachi Black's gonna win that or something.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Jericho versus Danielson.
I don't give a fuck.
But it's the Lionheart versus the American Dragon, Mike.
I didn't know that we were playing WWE 2K22, and it was 1997 Chris Jericho. I thought this was still 2022 Chris Jericho.
Like, Jericho, you're not the Lionheart anymore when you can't dye your hair because it's so thin you'll burn your scalp. Okay?
Facts.
Like, you're not the Lionheart anymore. Okay, then we have, I'm actually excited for this one, Swerve in Our Glory versus the Acclaim.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely excited for that one.
Yep.
Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy. I'm excited for that one.
That has a really good build.
And Starks versus Hobbs. That'll be a good undercard match.
Excited for that one too.
So there's literally 3 matches out of 8 announced that I'm actually like really excited for.
And we still have a world title match to add to that.
Still have a world title match. Still have a this bitch strong match.
Oh yeah, because you're definitely having that bitch on.
Right. You can't not have Jade Cargill on the show.
If they pick this show of all shows to not have Jade Cargill on the show.
Bold choice, Cotton. Bold choice.
And they have a match. Because supposedly Sammy and Eddie is still on the table for being on this show.
And here's the thing, they're going to add like 4 matches to the buy-in.
I mean, that
which like whatever, like pre-shows, I'll have them on in the background. I'm not paying.
So it'll be Hook defending the FTW title against someone.
Yeah.
It'll probably be the Ass Boys in a tag match against someone.
Probably. Which, man, how quickly did they gloss? Like, they went from Billy Gunn and his boys like telling this story to like the kids turn on the dad. The dad then ends up scissor me daddy ass. Acting like he doesn't even care that his fucking kid just fucking boots him in the fucking face. And then the next week they wrestle, and now that story is, I guess, just over.
Well,
it looks you have your kids turning on a dad, and the story has a 2-week payoff, and it's done.
Well, it does look like they're going to join the Stokely Hathaway, whatever the fuck he's doing.
Right, more factions. Cool, great. Factions are awesome.
Well, here's the thing: Stokely Hathaway's faction with the guys that he's building right now is like the Factory 2.0. Nobody gives a fuck. Like, no one cares about Colton and Austin Gunn or Big Shotty Lee Johnson or whoever the fuck else he's going to end up getting on to be part of it. The reality is factions and factions and factions don't mean that guys are getting TV time. It means that you're fucking finding something to do with them so that they're complacent and don't complain about wanting to not be there anymore. I think that this, even with 4 pre-show matches, even with moving things around, this card's going to be 11 matches long by the time it's all said and done. Because I will tell you right now,
I'm going to bet at 14.
Very well.
We have 8 announced now.
Oh, here you go. Let's.
There's 2 that are definitely being added, so that's 10.
Okay, hold on. So that's 8. We're going to add a Jade Cargill match. That's 9.
And a world
title match. We're gonna go Miro versus Malachi Black because that's fucking or the House of Black versus Miro, Sting, and Darby Allin because why not put Sting on another?
Oh yeah, why not do a third 6-man match on that?
12th will be Sammy Guevara versus Eddie Kingston in a street fight.
Yep.
13 will be. Is there anything else that makes a ton of sense? That
well, no. Then it'll be a couple random ones. It'll be like
Hook
Daniel Garcia versus Wheeler Yuta for no reason.
Oh no, they'll put the pure title on the line again. Fuck it.
Why not?
Claudio's gonna have to like make an appearance.
Sure. And then just some random, the Gun Club versus the Private Party.
Great. That sounds like a terrible fucking show.
for no reason. For no reason. But it'll be on the buy-in. So
that sounds fucking awful.
Yeah, I'm betting 14. That's gonna be I'm locked that in.
Is Matt Hardy around? Can we get him to fucking come back and do something stupid?
God, I hope.
What about Jeff Hardy? Have they gotten him out of rehab yet?
Yeah, I think he's predisposed. He's predisposed, Mike. He's
dead.
He's well. I mean, he's
busy. Predisposed, not decomposed.
Oh my bad.
Yeah. You don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about Jeff Hardy.
What about Bowflex?
Probably should talk about him either.
Oh boy.
All right. But yeah, don't care about the rematch.
Resounding -% give a fucks.
Do we want to do Ernest topic next? Because I feel like by the time we come back next week, it's
I think we need to touch on it because I think it'll be
like if he still wants to give his thoughts, because I mean obviously he didn't just disappear into the abyss like Joe did. So but you know, he can obviously touch on it because it's not going to be, you know, CM Punk discussion will still be relevant next week. Let's put it that way.
Correct.
We passed 1 year of Punk in AEW, so just kind of looking at that, and how do you grade
Right there.
the first year of Punk in AEW? Do you want to roll it first?
Hold on. Let me. For those of you at home, I'm updating my display name. Yeah. I mean, I'll go. Where I'm at. I feel like on a scale of like 1 to 10, it's like a 7.5. The comeback pop was everything you wanted it to be and more. His feud with Max was really well done. You know, Revolution with coming out to AFI and, you know, the Ring of Honor gear, you know, huge moment. Glad I was there for that. That was epic. But the entire feud with Page, I felt like that was more of the Adam Page story than the Phil from Chicago story. You know, Adam with the, you know, this will be the first time in many times that I'm, you know, defending AEW against you. You know, so it felt like Adam's trajectory was more of what they were trying to get over in that. And to be honest with you, the last 3 months have basically been a waste because the guy is an idiot and decided to swan dive into the crowd and kick the fucking guardrail on the way. I mean, let's look at it from this standpoint. And I was listening to you guys talk about it earlier, and I didn't want to give away my thoughts because I knew we were going to talk about the same topic. You asked, did the injury hurt where the guys were at? And a lot of them said no. It hurts where I have him because that injury isn't an injury that took place in a match. He didn't break his foot trying to hit the buckshot lariat in the match against Page that caused one of the 9,736 botches in that match. He broke it doing something that is completely and utterly moronic and avoidable. Because here's the thing. We would have never had an interim champion. Moxley may have been the guy to fight him for the title at some point. Phil would probably still be world champion right now if I had to guess. He may be losing it at All Out, but he would be the champion going into All Out. Whomever he would be facing would be getting one of the biggest matches in their career and probably one of the biggest wins of their career. Instead, because of his moronic decision, Jon Moxley beats him in 4 minutes, and now we have no idea what the fuck they're going to do 10 days before a fucking pay-per-view. All because you had to just get a running head start and try to swan dive into the crowd and mistime your jump. That's like, hey guys, I know the NFL is starting in like 2 weeks. I'm gonna go play in this pro-am basketball tournament and blow out my ankle. Brilliant fucking idea.
Yeah.
The fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I mean it's yeah, he derailed his own title reign. And look where we're at now. And you know, like Tim made a good point, like on our show, like we don't you don't know what's work and shoot. There's the truth is usually somewhere in the middle. But you have question marks surrounding a guy who walked out on a contract and a deal that he signed. That's an unfortunate way to start your second year. I'll say that. Yeah, I mean, it was cool seeing Punk back in wrestling. It was great to hear Cult of Personality. It was cool to hear CM Punk chants when they weren't done sarcastically. It was cool to have a guy, that was a huge part of, WWE, in some classic feuds a decade ago. Back on the mic, doing what he does really well. The entrance at Revolution was really fucking cool, and I didn't even watch Ring of Honor. Like when he was there, like I'm aware of it, and that was cool for me. Like I can only imagine what it's like, for people who like were Ring of Honor people. Um, and then he won the title, and it's like, okay, I figured we were gonna get here. And just because of age and wear on the tires, you probably had to get here sooner than later. But then the last few months, man, it's just gone to shit because you disappeared after your crowning achievement, and now you come back. And are you just trying to be a heel, or are you just being a dick, Phil? Either way, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I said on 3 count, and I'll say it here. Saying like his first year was successful is complicated because
I would say it's incomplete.
well, I mean, I guess it's not necessarily for me. I can't say it's incomplete because the year is up. For Punk and AEW being successful is incomplete. For his first year,
Okay.
I don't even necessarily know, like, because theoretically, and maybe it was more from a business standpoint, successful, sure, because you're getting ad revenue, you're still at the top of the rankings, ratings every week, and all of that. You're selling a shitload of merchandise, so from a business standpoint, you're successful. From a fan standpoint, I don't see how fans AEW fans can say that this was a success for the first year. Because go back a year ago. This was just another person that AEW fans said, this is the difference maker. They got Punk to come back. What difference does it make? A year later, WWE, now granted, didn't foresee the changes coming to WWE, but WWE's hotter than AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? So
on the big board back there, please show me where you thought that was going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I was right about. No, it wasn't.
No.
So yeah, I think it's a the first year of CM Punk in AEW, complicated.
If I'm giving it a letter grade, I'll give it a B.
Yeah, I think B is fair. Maybe minus because of the end.
Sure.
Because here's the thing: if you have a great movie with a bad ending, it's not a great movie. So, like, if you're grading the first year as a great first year until the ending, so yeah, a B minus. I think it's fine. Complicated, definitely complicated.
More questions than answers going into year number 2.
Oh, that's what I said. I said I find year 2 far more fascinating.
Oh, I would agree with that assessment 100%. Because now it's, where does he go from here? Because if the talks of him walking out and all that are factual, then what's the next step for Phil? Because is it going and getting the foot healed and then, making a return run at trying to regain his title? Then we'll follow that as we get there. But I mean, I think there's more questions than answers when it comes to the guy with the Pepsi tattoo.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, there's a lot of questions, and hopefully, they start to tell us beginning this week, but we'll see. We'll see what they may get me to watch Rampage tomorrow.
I just enjoy that Sean Ross Sapp literally said they're showing CM Punk get shot. Desperation with like 9,000 exclamation points on Twitter, And then he put out a tweet right after. He goes, "You guys do know that was a joke, right?"
Just, oh, wrestling fans, you never cease to amaze me. Yeah, I look forward to year 2 of Punk, because yeah, Lord knows what's gonna happen. But like to me, I like, okay, so if he doesn't win, if he's in the match at All Out and he doesn't win it back, to me, he shouldn't sniff a title feud in year 2.
He definitely shouldn't sniff a world title feud.
Yeah, but are you really gonna quote unquote demote him to the TNT title?
No,
Are
but
you?
you can put him with somebody and create a tag team.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
You could have him mentor someone.
Hey, that's a good point.
That's the route I would go. If Phil loses the title, is in that match, and loses to D or John at All Out, I would definitely let him then go heal up properly, let him come back 100%, and I'd have him, recruit someone to be a disciple of his and do something in the tag division.
Yeah, okay, I like that. I like that.
I mean, here, perfect guy. Have him brainwash Hookhausen, and him and Hook become a tag team.
Ooh, I
You
get
know,
behind that.
something different. Hook doesn't really cut promos, so Phil's the perfect guy to cut promos for him.
Sure.
So, like there are pieces that they can get to. Does he start his own straight edge society in AEW? Does he get someone to join him? All possible. But it's if he loses the match, if he's in the match at All Out and loses to John, like I'm good on him being the world champion.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't need him to be world champion again.
No, especially as
start moving the world title picture at least for a little bit here towards towards Wardlow, towards Hangman, towards some of these guys that have been here and have been people building within your company within the 3 years, people that you built. Start making your own champions.
If you go back and look at the guys that they've had as champions, the only homegrown talent is Adam Hangman Page.
Yeah, and
technically Kenny Omega. But I don't really even count Kenny.
Yeah, I don't count him as homegrown, man. He started
to be part of the ownership group.
Yeah, and he already was established. Hangman, Hangman just started to, but he really established. He is really
he took that next step.
guy. He's an AEW guy. Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to hit mine? Or do we want to hit Joe's?
Let's hit yours. So just in case Joe somehow makes an appearance in this bitch.
All right. So for me this week, I decided to just go with a fill in the blank. So I have 4. And certainly Craig, if you wanna hop in on this one, you can. My first one, blank was the first wrestling figure you remember getting.
The Legion of Doom 2-pack from Hasbro.
Ooh, good one. Good one.
Mine was the Hulk Hogan with like that big.
The rubber one, the LJN ones.
The LJN, yeah.
Oh, those are good. Mine was the Bret Hart Hasbro.
Nice.
Black top, pink pants.
Yep.
Blank was the first pay-per-view you remember watching.
Ooh. I'm gonna go Fall Brawl 95.
Ooh, solid.
That was the first one that I actually truly remember watching.
Okay. Craig.
Are we talking like closed circuit TV pay-per-views, or are we talking like the TBS Clash of the Champions back in the day?
However you want to define it.
Well, well, for me, when you say, damn it, when you say pay-per-view, I think of you got to buy it. It doesn't come on your cable channel. So mine's WrestleMania 1.
That's awesome. That's pretty fucking awesome. For me, it's WrestleMania 7. I distinctly remember because that was 91.
Mhm.
So I would have still been 5. So I wouldn't have turned 6 until that summer.
And real quick, and also watching the Survivor Series when The Undertaker made his premiere.
Oh, it's a good one. But yeah, I remember going. It was a guy my dad worked with. We went over to their house and watched the pay-per-view. Because kids, back in our day, you had to fucking rent a box from your fucking cable company and order the damn thing so you could actually tune in. It wasn't just click a button on
Or you just got a hot box and you got every pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, you could do that too. Or you just watch it on scrambled cable and you listen.
The Spice Channel.
Yeah, you listen to the pay-per-view and then you listen to the Spice Channel.
Yes.
And I think I saw a titty. I saw a titty.
That's a nipple.
Yeah. All right. Blank is your favorite wrestling T-shirt that you have actually owned.
That's a good one. So obviously the staples are like the DX and the NWO shirt, which I owned both. I still have the Nexus T-shirt.
Nice.
That's another staple of mine that I really like.
Actually, you know what the question is? What T-shirts do you not own?
I don't own a lot. But I will say the one for me that that was my favorite wrestling shirt, and I think it's because of how big of a Johnny Gargano fan I am. So the first time I ever saw Johnny live, I bought. Bringing the shirt up because it's actually on his Pro Wrestling Tees. Is the
Oh, okay, nice.
So like that one always holds like a sentimental spot in my heart, as does my Los Ice Creams T-shirt, because you can't ever go wrong with Ice Cream Jr. and El Hijo del Ice Cream, Los Ice Creams. So I have a couple, but I think like when you think of wrestling, I think the most synonymous ones are probably the NWO black and white. But yeah, I would say the Johnny one's my favorite. Low key, a lot of love for the Tyson Kidd Cesaro gray one when they were the tag team. I have that one. It's in my drawer.
I have. Or Craig, do you have one?
Yeah, I have a black DX. I never really like went to a lot of shows when we were growing up, like. So, and then when I did go to the ones, like when I went to Raw and stuff when it was in New York, I was just never really into the merch. So like, yeah, I only have like 2 or 3 wrestling shirts, I think.
Okay. I have 2. One of them, I gotta take our display name. Is that guy right there? Because that was that's the first shirt that we sold.
The first 3 Count Thursday shirt.
Oh, it's the first 3 Count Thursday shirt that we sold. It was our first logo. It was we drew it up on Custom Ink.
Oh, nice.
Like customink.com or whatever. And you can still get the design. We have the design on our TeePublic page. But yeah, that one. I mean, having like I remember because we ordered a bunch. We ordered some extras and we actually ended up selling them at like indie shows that we worked at. But like this fucking notion that we had our own fucking shirts was just fucking mind-boggling to me. But then the other one is the black black Austin 316 with the red skull, because so back when Austin 316 hit, we went to like this farmers market flea market thing in our area, and I got my allowance, and I went straight to this place that sold wrestling shirts, and I bought the original Austin 316 shirt with the white lettering and the white skull. In flea markets, there's no such thing as like returns. If you buy it, it's all sales final.
Yeah.
So I knew my parents weren't going to be cool with this, so I tried to hide it. Mom discovered it before we left, and she marches back to the fucking place and gets like in the guy's fucking face, ends up getting her money back. So then once I was an adult and they re-released that Austin shirt, I was able to finally have my Austin 316 shirt.
Real quick, I am still waiting on my Rico Mortis t-shirt.
I know. I gotta get on that. I promise it'll happen.
Then that will be my favorite t-shirt.
I promise it'll happen in 2022. Blank should be the next NXT call-up.
Sorry, I'm watching Craig just in shambles over here over a Shea Lagalier's home run.
The Yankees again.
No, they're up, win, but
they're up 10-1, but he needs a quality start for our fantasy league.
Oh, gotcha.
High on through 5 2/3. They just gave up a fucking nuke to Shane Lagalier's. Who should be the next call-up? I think Joe mentioned his name when we talked about a topic last week. I'm gonna stay with it because I think he's the most, because to me it would have been Santos Escobar and Legado del Fantasma, but looking at the way that they closed NXT, I think that's already happening. The next one should be the current North American champion, Carmelo Hayes.
Okay.
Give it quality.
Craig, you got one?
I don't watch NXT, dude. I have no idea who's on that show.
Totally fine. For me, and they kind of already started
Toxic Attraction.
Bring up Mandy. Bring up the full presentation.
Well, I think that's a slam dunk now that they're doing the unification match, because I think Miko or Davenport walks out of Worlds Collide as the champion.
Oh, definitely.
Especially because I don't think Braun Breaker's losing to Tyler Bate, so I think they give one of the UK roster members one of the titles, and
another thing I'm happy about that Tyler Bate never was in Vince McMahon's AEW, because they would have given him a master gimmick.
You mean Vince McMahon's WWE?
Yeah, because he would have been the master Bate.
Yes, 100%.
Or a cunning linguist.
Yeah, that would have been his tag team partner. All right, do we want to hit Joe's? He's not showing up. Let's just be honest. He's not showing up.
Hold on. I'm just going to send him a text and say, "Are you dead?"
Are you dead? I mean, honestly, like we could realistically skip. I mean, his topic isn't necessarily. I mean, it's kind of evergreen if he wants to just hold his topic till next week.
Yeah, we'll just skip it. Let's just go to wrestlers for the week.
All right.
All right. So basically, last week to nominate wrestlers, no Joe, no Ernest. So it looks like each of us are going to have some nominations to do.
That's good, because we're the only two people on this show that like watch wrestling, right?
Correct.
So this might be the best. Well, yes, Craig. But this may be the most coherent wrestler of the week in a while on this show.
A long time. All right, so I'll give you the honors of starting.
Okay, I am going to start. This feels like the easy shooting fish in a barrel, but he is your new undisputed AEW World Champion, Jon Moxley.
All right, so I'm going to take a team that punched their ticket into the next round of the AEW Trios tournament. I'm going to take the United Empire's team of Aussie Open and William Ospreay.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to go with Trish and her return on Raw.
Whoo, boy.
And the amazing pair of yoga pants that she was wearing.
Respectfully.
Yeah, respectfully.
Respectfully. My goodness. Then, now, forever. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. For me, my next one, I am going to go with the man who made a surprising return to WWE on Monday night. Johnny Gargano is back in WWE. Or I should say is in WWE because it would have been back in NXT.
I love it. This guy kicked ass in front of his home country, defeating fucking Damian Priest. Hit a really sick looking Canadian destroyer. I'll take Edge.
Sticking with the Canadians.
Martin St. Louis?
No. Originally, I didn't like this guy, but he's amazing on the mic. He's hysterical in his segments, and he's phenomenal and one of the best wrestlers in the WWE. And he is an honorary member of the Bloodline. The guy who reminds me of a paperboy from like the 1920s with his ska music, Sami Zayn.
He's so good. He's so good.
He got an amazing pop.
Oh, he's fantastic. Do we still have more nominations?
Yeah, one more nominee each.
I will go with give me still your AEW Tag Team Champions in what may have been one of the better matches in the history of Rampage. Swerve in Our Glory.
All right. I don't understand how that makes any sense, but okay. I'm going to take the team that punched their ticket to the finals of the women's tag team tournament. Give me Dakota Kai and Io Sky.
Nice.
I'm going to go with Shayna because I think she should be the next champ.
She absolutely should be.
Liv is great and all, but I say you put it on Shayna, give it to her for a little bit, and then have her be the one Ronda faces. You know, after all the suspension and whatever she's going through with beating up officials.
All right, so I'll take the last pick to round out the rest of the week, and I'm going to take the guy who won the Heritage Cup in the soon-to-be non-existent NXT UK anymore. Give me the Scottish Supernova Noam Dar. So,
okay, nice.
So that is the end of Wrestler of the Week for this week. Next week's show we'll have the Wrestlers of the Month for the month of August. That's if I get a list from Escape from New York and Ernest, the Toolbox. I'm not holding my breath. I think Wrestler of the Month this month might just be me and you exchanging lists and gentlemen agreeing to the top 25.
That's fair.
He hasn't been here in almost the whole month, so he should.
Buddy, Joe's been here,
but he hasn't been here.
But all he does is go, "Oh, that looks like a nice list. I'll take that one."
Yeah,
he tries to just buy a list, get a list free. It's literally like, "Oh, hey, maybe I could buy one of those." But no,
let me copy your homework.
No,
you just made the list.
Exactly. All right. You can follow Ernest at EJChristian7. If you guys are listening to this, go show him some love. We love him, obviously. I'm not plugging anything for Joe. We do love the Toolbox. We love to make fun of him.
Yeah. Oh.
He's our human punching bag. We have to.
Yeah. God.
Yeah. It's out of love.
I'm not gonna plug anything for Joe. Fuck that. Jim, go ahead.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm certainly not going to plug anything.
Why said that, you idiot?
3 Count Thursday, 3CT. We had our live show this week. We drop a podcast episode every Tuesday. all podcast platforms. You can go to 3countthursday.com or YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. That's where the episodes drop. So make sure you're subscribed across all channels. Check out our merchandise there, tpublic.com. Hit all the link trees. Huddle Up Podcast. We are back for the new season. We are one episode deep. We previewed the college football season. This coming Tuesday night, we're going to preview the full NFL season.
Ernest will find a way to fuck that one up too. Don't worry about it.
Probably. And then we'll also hit some of the big games Labor Day weekend in college football and predict those as well. So we are off and running with the new season of Huddle Up Podcast. You can get us Facebook and Twitter at Huddle Up Podcast. Hit the link tree there. You'll find all of our podcast channels, merchandise on that one as well. And Discussions with the Nobody. We had a new discussion drop this past Monday. My plan is I'm recording one with a friend on Saturday, as long as there's no unforeseen issues there. Hoping to get more content on that feed as well at DWAN Pod on Twitter and Discussions with the Nobody on Facebook. You can get me at Big Jim Sports. Definitely, Ernest, man. It sucks. We're thinking about you, bud.
You can follow the show at Take3 Wrestling. You can follow me on Twitter at They Call Me Burn. If you want to listen to me talk about men's league baseball in South Florida, you can. Sunny Days and Double Plays. Final episode of the summer 2022 season will launch on Saturday. Then I'm taking a couple weeks off to recharge the batteries before we kick back off the 18th of September. Other than that, Craig, you got anything before we kick the rocks?
Nah, I'm good.
We got our drafts this weekend, so we'll probably be talking about that for a little bit. Turned in my list to you about my college picks. Go Grayson McCall, Coastal Carolina. Sean's up. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Other than that, guys, again, we appreciate you guys hanging out, listening to us as always. Stay safe, love each other, and we'll see you guys next week right here on Take 3.